First of all, I want to say I hate to hear that we've lost another brother, man, Kevin Sullivan. Um, I've never got together with making the list of the wrestlers that I've wrestled that have died, but I know now it's over. It's well over 100, and Kevin being on that list. 100 guys that have died that I've wrestled. Over 100. Wow, that's unbelievable. Now keep in mind that don't count wrestlers like the Ultimate Warrior that I didn't wrestle, uh, Dusty Rhodes that I never wrestled. Wrestlers that I wrestled that have passed away is over 100. So rest in peace, Kevin Sullivan. And all I can think to do, because I take death a little different, I believe that death should be a celebration of life. And with that said, I remember a great story with Kevin Sullivan. I was, I guess, fortunate enough to be part of the infamous Paul Orndorff Big Van Vader fight in the locker room. And it was great. The story is, I'm sure there's 1,000 different ones, but this is what I remember and what I saw. The story is Kevin was running the show at the time and at WCW, and he was just doing his stuff, getting ready for the show at center stage, and Paul Orndorff was one of our agents. And Paul at the time he wore flip-flops everywhere because he had great legs, and just that's the way he wore. And he wore glasses that had a little chain on them, kind of like a grandmother. And of course, I didn't know Paul was tough, and I didn't really know he had that persona about him. I wrestled Paul several times, but didn't know he was a tough guy. So all I know him as is Pretty Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, and he's a hell of a wrestler. And so we won the World Tag Team belts off him. But so we're at center stage, and Paul Orndorff, being an agent, comes down to tell Big Van Vader, "Hey, it's time. They need some interviews for you up top." And Vader's like, "I'll be there in a minute," And I remember thinking, God, he kind of blew Paul off, And Paul was real nice. Paul came back down the second time and asked him again. He was a little bit ill again, but he didn't come. Finally, Paul came down, and Paul stayed the exact same niceness. He said very, very nice, and he goes, "Hey, they need you upstairs." And he goes, "Listen, old man, leave me alone." He goes, "I'll get up there when I want to. You're not my boss," kind of thing. And they had a few words, and then I'll never forget it. Vader bear pawed Paul Orndorff, just like a big club to the head, like Vader does in all his matches, and I think in life he had a big swing, but it was like a bear paw swing, and it knocked Paul down. And I'll never forget seeing Paul with his little grandmother glasses laying there. His flip-flops had fell off off his feet. They were laying on the floor. His glasses are in the floor. He's trying to find his glasses. I even hear a couple of chuckles going on, and I'm going, "Oh my God, that looks horrible." And then Paul Orndorff got up and beat the shit out of the Big Van Vader. It was unbelievable. I had no idea Paul was that tough. And so here he is barefooted, kicking Big Van Vader, going, "Take some of those, get some," and kicking him like with the kicks, but was barefooted. And Vader's down. And right there, Kevin Sullivan, being the boss, runs in and says, "Let it go. Let the fight go," because everybody was getting ready to break it up because the boss came in. And I was kind of glad to let it go because Vader had, done what he done, and I think he needed to be paid back. Well, Paul, kept going, and I remember Kevin coming in going, let him go. So we let him go, and finally, Vader kind of got Paul in the corner, and it was going to be ugly. Vader finally got his weight behind him, and then Kevin said, break it up. So we all broke it up, but I'll never forget that, with Kevin being so cool, not to even see what I had seen and to let the fight go was a good call, and it made sense to me. The funny part of that whole story is all 3 of those guys are dead now. So great story, great Kevin Sullivan memories. I love Kevin Sullivan. He was always behind me, always pushed whatever I was doing, always pleasurable, very sweet, very nice man to me. And he'll go down as being one of the guys that built the NWO. Rest in peace, Kevin. I love you.